Okay. Hi, my name is Exile, current TFT Midfight player playing in Sixes and Islander. Today we're just going to be going over a demo of a match I played on GCI versus Tech. This demo I think is in the current invite season, I think it's 16. Maybe I'm not too sure if you know, but that's just the demo we're
16.
going to be looking at. 16? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the match we played against Tech on Snakewater. I think the score line for this was 4-3. I guess I can fact check that. Yeah, so 4-3. Um, are we good to go?
Yeah. Let's go for it. Let's do the
Okay,
thing.
so awesome. So I'll be playing Flank Scout on this, and my combo scout's gonna be Scratch. Previously, me and Scratch have played on teams like the Covenant, where we place third and sixes invite. And the players on my team are I have Kawa on Roamer, Playmo on Pocket. My demo is Piniferous, and my medic is Hannah. Like I said, I'm just a ringer in this. I'm not an actual main, but we did end up pulling a victory against Freo, so I just wanted to kind of go over this with you guys. So, primarily on flank scout on midfights, there's kind of two rollouts you want to try and do, depending on where your other scout wants to play. So the first one is that you're going to roll out to their left side here towards catwalk, kind of play on the roof, play there to deny players up top on the roofs of the mid. Make sure you can deny bombers from there as well. Also from up there, you can kind of take more of an aggressive fight over the point from the high ground. You gotta go on the demo or the med, or maybe kill a soldier from there. Second mid you can do, depending on where your other scout wants to play, is the right side rollout, which is going to be played towards the roof, which is going to be looking at kind of towards their kitchen, towards the right roof where their flank scout would potentially peek from, or their other scout would peek from. And from that positioning, you can look at kind of denying soldiers, pushing the demo on mid if he gets too aggressive, and taking just standard 1v1s on anything that pushes your demo or your team. And, obviously, scout on most mid fights are going to help towards killing soldiers, so I think on this one, I do try to tend to play right side because Scratch and me agree that he likes playing left more. So the first thing that happens when you roll out to the mid is you're going to be trying to spot where their demo's playing. Obviously, the demo's just doing the standard rollout, so my demo's going to meet him. And then from this position, I kind of try to just take high ground here. Either pressure the demo early, and then look at kind of players up top. So I've noticed those soldiers kind of surf out, so what I try to do is just kind of pressure them so they can't rebomb. When their soldiers fall off the high ground, I try to pressure the players on point and then take high ground myself. And I notice that a soldier goes behind, so I do have some early pressure just to peek him so he doesn't get the kit behind us and then rebomb with health. And me and Scratch kind of know he's doing that, so I go and clean him up after Scratch, pressure them a little bit more. Thing to note about this demo is Kawa does tend to play Pyro and Snakewater mids instead of playing Soldier, because one of the strats we noticed is when we play the mids, the soldiers on Freo, like Mirrorman and Donovan, tend to do aggressive fast bombs, either kind of low to the ground to kill the medic, or kind of land on something on height. But, when soldiers do a high bomb of any kind, they do tend to get pretty low when they come on the descent. So with a Pyro, you're always doing tick damage with the detonator early. So they're going to have less HP in their bombs. But also, when they do end up landing on anything on your side of mid, the Pyro will be able to deny them with reflex. So that was kind of the thought process going into these mids on GCI against Freo is Kawa's Pyro, which actually had ended up winning us a lot of the mids. But off of mid, Kawa tends to play Soldier, so... Alright, so now we're just resuming the demo into second pushes here. I try to support my flank player in my Pyro, and then rotate to my combo if they need a scout with them, which I do here. I try not to take too much damage, because obviously from this position, I kind of just want to take a fight, but not take heals away from my combo, which ends up working really well for us. So I do get the trade on Habib. Kawa is just pressuring their combo and flank from behind. Unfortunately, we have a bad commit on our teammates kind of fighting in the post-uber, so we lose Scratch as well. But with our spawn wave, we do try to peek middle, potentially, if they're slow, with our spawners rolling out, but... yeah, we do take it because they're very slow to retake. So I just draw eyes from kitchen here, and Scratch eventually helped me clean up a scout. With the space bait, I do end up walking in. I think our med gets forced here, which isn't what we wanted. We kind of want to save our Uber pushing into middle second maybe, but with our picks, we do try to go for some sort of flank play with me and our roamer. I don't want to commit my life because our other scout's dead, so I try to play near combo mostly. And with that, we kind of just reset back to mid. That play was just to try to kill the medic or get a force while we still had mid control. Since my soldiers are both dead and Scratch is still rolling out, I'm just taking the roll of combo until he gets there, and then I'll rotate back to flank once he's ready. So Kawa's on Pyro here. She does actually take 2 aggressive fights lower, which is actually not ideal. Because we were down numbers on the rollout there, we ended up having to need to leave because she took too much early damage, which meant we couldn't take the fight normally. So she ends up dying for that too, unfortunately. But
yeah, I was surprised she was still on Pyro.
yeah, it's not something we wanted to coordinate. Actually, she just kind of had I don't know. She just kind of decided to spawn on it, kind of maybe like a spark of like potential play making in her mind, but it ended up failing. So, but it's okay. So what happens here, even though the Ubers were even, our team wasn't recognizing the potential push they could have done as a dry push. Remember, we were down Kawa for the beginning of that dry fight they did, so they did the dry fight, we weren't ready for it. Even though we were cleaning up a few kills, our med got piped by the demo and died. Me on heavy there, I did know that they were going to do that, but I couldn't really say that to my team fast enough for them to be ready for it. I think I did try, but we had too many comms holding last, so we ended up losing the round because of that. I think on this point of the game, we do have a bit of a reset happen. See, Kawa's now on Soldier. We have a mid strat this time, and I want to see how we kind of turn the rounds here. Yeah, it's kind of standard mid. I pressured the demo early. Try not to take too much damage. Our medic dies. You know, we kind of expected their soldiers to double bomb for med pick. So either we commit for their med later, or we just cap mid and reset. Which we just end up resetting, I think. I think our soldier does want to try and go for a play on second though alone, but he might just live, which he does, which is actually better. Right. So the scenario here is we're down full Uber, and we can all get buffed up here. So we could play to force on middle here, which is what we tend to try and do. Me and Kawa call that they're pushing out Saw. We're gonna flank kitchen, which actually we end up doing really well. I missed a few shots in this soldier, but we do end up cleaning him up still anyways. With some lucky LGs. So, oh.
Ooh, that air shot.
That was a crazy air shot. Yeah, that was an air shot from Banny. So, I'm just gonna pause and talk about the kind of transitional play there. So, when we go for the flank from me and Kawa, the reason why we do a flank quickly through kitchen like that is because we get a call that their combo's pushing through Saw to mid. And from the position of Froyo, when they're pushing through Saw there, it's a harder rotate for them to meet us and lower and cut us off on our flank play. And we have kind of have the initiative first before they spot us to go kitchen and fight their flank. And since we're on early rounds in the game, they weren't really expecting us to do that play. So I called to Kawa that we want to flank here, which ends up working out really well for us. And once we got onto second point after we killed the soldier, remember that we're not trying to overextend and lose both our lives, because even though we killed 2, if we trade 2 there, they still have advantage on our medic, so they could retake mid after we lose 2 there. So the idea is we kill their flank players and then try to spot their combo and stay alive for a potential refight afterwards with our combo. And then even though Kawa got air shot, she did the play she was supposed to do with me, and it caused them to turn around, fight us. I didn't die, and now we have mid control with Uber again. So now it's evened out, but we have mid control now, even though they won the mid theoretically with Uber had. This play they're doing actually. Oh, yo, don't have Uber. Oh, okay. I guess we didn't have Uber there. I think we thought we did though. Yeah. Even in the demo review, you'd kind of expect us to have Uber there, I guess. But yeah. Oh well. But we killed Jimmy, so it's fine. Me and Scratch have very good synergy when it comes to shooting the same targets. I think me and him have a very good scout sense in that way. I guess it just comes with us playing with each other for so many seasons now. Okay, finally I started building so that bleed effect's off my screen. Yeah, so Scratch just says, I'm gonna feed. You know, whatever, it's fine. Usually when a scout dies in that kind of timing, you might want to snipe. Especially pushing second. Sniper is really strong on the middle when you have mid control. Peeking into their second. But we have 2.5 minutes, so we do have time to just do standard sack plays with our soldiers, which is what we opted to do. Also, we have advantage, right? So with the advantage, we do want to try and drive before we do any type of sack play. So after I cleared flank, I meet my combo lower. I do take a bit of damage, but the damage I'm taking isn't like too much where I have to get full beam. It gives me enough health where I can just play to support my teammates, kill soldiers, shoot the scouts walking forward. Unfortunately, our med forces, but with our 3 picks, we can actually still turn around here because we killed their demo too.
Yeah.
Scratch is calling to go forward here. I think since we're so slow, we tend to back off, and then I think we have a spy play now, which is pretty commonplace. Just having a spy in these kind of transitional fights where they might have ad. Dropping the meta in this push would be insanely good for our pacing, because we can turn it into a last push like right after. So. Mirrorman had a really bad bomb there, so we opt to stick in a little bit longer, potentially if we kill the medic. Or I can say trade our spy or soldier for a kill.
Your spy just died.
Yeah, so since our spy died, we're still trying to prod it a little bit with Uber, because we actually ended up getting Uber because they were so slow. So even though Call of Spy Play didn't get anything done, theoretically, it gave us the time to set up. And you can call the same kind of stuff from any class, any flank combo class, just knowing that they're building fast on your side. You can fight anything really if you get the Uber in time with it. We do have a terrible peak left though.
I was wondering about that. Looks like they used.
I think we did end up getting the Uber, yeah. Yeah, so I think that was a bad force on us, but it was a worse force for Jimmy's team. He's the medic for their team. I think the point of why they used was to try and chase us, but they weren't really in a position to chase us too far because we had players behind our Uber. And then they chased our roamer, so it ended up being worse for them. Should be fine here, yeah. I take a lot of aggressive peeks just because I like calling for my team on flank scout a lot. I get more intel that way.
This way.
Is that something that you'd recommend for other scouts to do as well, or is that just a you thing?
I guess that's something that I want to pause to talk about.
Yeah.
When playing flank scout, most of the time you don't want to take calls away from your combo, and you kind of want to just use your role as a way of giving calls to your combo, not like a main call or like an instruction, but kind of, well, the term scouting, which is just like spotting where classes are, what off classes they might have, etc. I don't really suggest how I play flank scout the way I play main call and flank scout most of the time to other teams, because with a combo that might not be situated with a strong main caller or maybe too many people calling at the same time, having an additional flank caller like calling in the same way is not good. But the reason why I would do that on this team and most teams where I have a scout like Scratch as my pocket scout, I do tend to do that because Scratch likes it when I do these strong calls for him, because he can play off of my calls on what their positioning is and what I suggest in our push calls and how they should look. So it's more of like his trust in me as a flank scout calling from my position helps him main call better, if that makes sense.
Similar to like a spy's role in Highlander.
Yeah, so if we're looking at it from Highlander's perspective, like, yeah, you have like your demo who main calls for his combo, and usually the combo is kind of how your flank players would situate their pushes as well. The spy has a lot more intel in Highlander and can spot a lot better. Yeah. So yeah, it's very similar to how flank scout would be in sixes, where your flank can spot deeper than your combo because your combo is playing in a position where your med can't get caught and die, but your flank is playing on a flank's position, which means they have better opportunities to spot things. So yeah, basically how a spy would activate, spy would initiate calls in Highlander. Yeah. Yep, same thing. But basically, to circle back to what I said about my role in this team, I just like to call a lot on flank scout because my pocket scout wants that. So my team likes it when I do that. So. This is a season where I was just subbing for this team, but when I played on the Covenant season 14 with Scratch, that was our roles to each other. I called from flank, he played combo for us, and we bounced calls off of each other, and our medic and our combo soldier demo would just kind of play off of us. And then our roamer would play around calls that he makes on the flank, and I'd play with him. So in this situation, they have a sentry gun, so our goal is to try to get the gun and then try to either sack or exchange. We do only have like a minute left, so we try to sack even though the gun's alive, which isn't ideal. Scratch said he wanted... Oh, we actually did get the force, so I guess it did work out. I think Scratch was sacking potentially to get on Sniper or something, but we got the Force, so now he's gonna spawn Scout. With full ad and 45 seconds left, we have a lot of time to set up and then take the Uber into the last and just cap, so let's just see how we take it here. I'm still taking the role of combo for a second while Scratch rolls out, but I don't want to take the Uber. I'm just helping our combo get into lobby.
Mission ends in 30
So it's good to note here. There's something funny that happens right after this unpause, but notice how our combo took a position away from me and Playmo here. So they went lower, because they want to kill the gun and then maybe play point. And my job as flank scout is, there's two things, and I'll give the insight on a few flank scouts that have played Invite as well, like Eric. He's given me insight on this in the past where it might be applicable to other flank scouts trying to learn. In this situation here, I want to play with my other players who aren't in the Uber, because if I've trailed lower, the point of their Uber is to kind of go straight to point. I don't want to get a flash unnecessarily because it'll waste their Uber. Because they could also go from lower and chase a kill, but if they flash me in because I need one, they're not going to be able to chase as far as I would necessarily want them to. So I just trail a soldier here, which is fine because it looks like Playmo's making me the entrance through drop down here, or yeah, above shutter. So I have a free vantage point from here to get in. What happens here though is kind of hilarious. So right, I don't know how Mirman got there.
You weren't wrong. That was really fun.
I don't know how he got there, but in my mind, I'm okay with dying to that because he wasn't allowed to stop the point. So
I didn't think you meant immediately after the pause. I thought you were gonna head out and then something funny would happen. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, the timing of that was perfect. Even the unpause time, but like, from my perspective in that moment, I didn't expect the soldier to be there. And who would, really? You don't hear the I didn't even hear the rocket jump, but I also don't expect them to, like, Ezio, like, auditory off the top of the roof. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so let's go into a brief overview of how this mid will look, okay? And I'm going to predict how it's going to go, because we actually won every single mid in this game. So I will give the insight of why our mids worked and how other teams could implement it, but it really comes down to if people want to play Pyro or not, some of them. But in this situation here, we kind of recognize that last mid they went for our medic instantly with their soldiers. So Kawa says, I'm going to play Pyro again, deny them space early with my spam, and then deny the soldiers when they bomb. And if I get pushed, we trade me if I die. That's the idea of Kawa. If she gets pushed with Pyro, one of our players can kill the player that pushes her, because she's in a position where she's not close enough to get spammed out and die from range, but she's also not in a position where she's like easily killable, I guess, right? So they would have to push a lot of resources to even kill her. So my job here, obviously I spot their demo. Most of the time when I roll out to the right here, I pressure lane instantly where the demo's playing. And then I would look at the soldier and scout up top. So huge damage early on the demo, and I always do that on most mids on scout, on the right side. However, I try to rotate to the left lane, and I do that, which is not ideal, but it works out because they trade me, so that's actually really good. So Kawa on Pyro this mid was actually crazy though, because she had 3 of them look at her the entire mid, and we were able to get 2 kills basically for free on our side of the map. Scratches a bot and dies to the demo, but he killed 4 that mid, so it works out.
Yeah, maybe I should get Kawa to talk about Pyro mid.
Honestly, yeah, she's probably the best person to talk about that with, because previously on a team she played on where they won advanced, she played Pyro full time as well, on certain maps. So that's, if you want to have like an instructional like discussion on Pyro and sixes, she'd be the one to talk to.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Okay, so again, I'm kind of playing towards the combo here because Scratch died on the mid-fight. Noticing that they're playing passive on their bats gives us a lot of room to walk into Saw out to second. Scratch sees that he's playing flank here, and he saw an opportunity to kill their demo because I was near combo, so he took it. I'll talk about that in a minute after this one ends. So
Wow, that was
kind
a
of
bit of a roll. God damn.
Yeah, it was. So let's talk about kind of the transition off of mid to last, what we did there. What was good about that is that when you have like two scouts that kind of are comfortable with each other's roles, like switching roles constantly, you'll have plays like that happen where, you know, I was a scout that was alive on mid before Scratch respawn, so I took the role of combo, and I'm used to playing combo already, but I think the best performances I've had in sixes was on flank scout, so I kind of know both roles. So I took the role of combo, and Scratch on his rollout didn't try to take it away immediately. He decided to shove the flank instead, right? Because he knew that I had the responsibility of combo, and I told him that through comms. So he recognized he has an opening to go flank. And the way that the second fight was situated was we entered through Saw, got a lot of free space, and got 2 picks. But while we got those 2 picks, their combo was still looking at us. So we had 6 players looking at us, and we ended up killing 2 for free, basically. So he has a free flank to go anywhere, either just cap the point. But in that instance, it was better for him to chase a kill, like on Benny, for instance, on demo. With a demo on last being dead, the cap is free, so that's why he did that instead. This mid, we have another Pyro, so we'll look at it and how she plays this mid. Last mid, she played a really aggressive version of her normal mid, so we're going to look at how she plays this mid. They're probably going to do something more passive most of the time, because I pushed Banny really hard last mid, and their soldiers did kind of the low bombs that died instantly. And they did it this mid too. And they ended up dying. Habib does something different this mid, which is shove right lane, which I didn't expect him to do on any of the mids, except this is the one mid he did, and he caught me off guard. But noticing that we got 4 kills and played on mid aggressive, after we killed the 2 soldiers, his push was actually not very good, because he didn't actually get anything but a scout. Our med's full health with Uberad. We literally ignore him behind, because he's a scout versus 4, he can't really kill our combo. The one thing now though is me and Kala have to look for a flank run inside of like second point, which we do, and we walk out afterwards. So you can see me like just like 180ing every corner looking for any hiders, but you know, we still have add to play around, so we can't actually delay too hard or else they're gonna get over, so our combo goes forward and our flank kind of delays slightly. So here's what's going on. So our med just used. We understand that a scout's behind. Oh, actually, our med did not use, actually. We just got 2 picks for free. We understand scout's still behind, so we're playing it reactionary, right? So we walk in the second for free, but we're always turning around. And then we notice, okay, he's going to start cap, but he's too late, so we're going to stack the second point and get the cap over him. However, from this instance, I'm chasing him because I know it's going to even out Uber-wise, but me and Kawa are going to get a spawn here, so we're going to look for the guy after this. And Scratch realizes that too, so since they're not pushing us on second, they're holding last, we just look for a kill on their people either potentially pushing too aggressive lobby or we kill the scout. It looks kind of derpy from what we're looking at right now, but notice how slow we took everything and how meticulous we were about killing Habib, that we ended up getting that free kill. And even though it's even now, we still have a number to play off of.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I have a free entry from lower, so I kind of look for it. My focus here is really bad though, unfortunately. I could have forced their medic, but I missed a shot, so. Having both scouts down is a real problem because nobody's really able to clean up most of the kills forward. So what's gonna end up happening is we might have to force Uber here. But Hannah does something really crazy though. She does end up milking this entire Uber into mid.
Oh wow.
So, okay, she's yeah. Yeah, so Hannah played that fucking insanely well. Yeah.
That was intense.
Yeah. If she forced there, it would have been really bad because we didn't really have a scout there to take the Uber. So unless our demo was able to kill like multiple things with their Uber, it doesn't really make sense to use there. So she Hannah milked it, which was the correct play. Noticing on the heads up display, we do have a spy, so with that in mind, our team does want to peek, and we did slightly, and Kyle got the drop, so. So the reason why I'm trailing our combo here is because if I was alone lower, I would have got pressured. Yeah, see, they pushed lower. I would have died there. Knowing that because my soldier wasn't there, that's one less player that can help me kill flankers. I just sit here and I shoot mirror, man. There he dies. Our med drops, though, to the patty. That was unfortunate, but So with our med being down and they're being down 3, we do opt to try and dry into last year. However, the thing that goes really awry here is how bad our focus was. Yeah. I got a kill, but we all shot different things. I had to hit that soldier for like basically all of his health after he rocket jumped. So if we shot the same stuff, I could have probably cleaned up 2, but I was only able to get 1 because we had no focus on anything else. Even the medic wasn't really shot that well, so. So in this instance,
did 9.
I think I did like 20, like something, which, you know, that's a good enough damage to force a medic if they were afraid of my shots. I'm not. Okay, so keep on track here. We have a sniper. Scratch had a time to play sniper, and I said sure, so I'll play combo again. However, it didn't really do anything, and I want us to pay attention to what happens the next few minutes here, because something does happen, and it kind of does topple over the entire game state for us. So I'm gonna pause right now. So if you look at our heads-up display, we have 2 off classes on our second. We have a sniper and a pyro. Now, normally the pyro is only useful for second pushes on their second or mid fights. That's what we've kind of decided on. Kawa decided to try and do pyro on our second again. But if we recall from the first few rounds, when we had a pyro on our second, we ended up losing the round shortly after because we lost the pyro on second pushes, or second holds. So keep that in mind and kind of look at how events transpire here and see what goes on. So one thing, we lose a soldier because we're down a flank member. Second thing is, we do kill the soldier, but our pyro is not able to effectively kill. Oh, actually, you know what? We ended up killing both scouts. But keep watching, because this is even though that happened, I still want us to pay attention to what's going on. So with 3 picks going into mid, we have to go for an early force. So I say run the fuck through. We're gonna use on their combo, right? So we use. Now from this position here, we have 2 picks. We have 2 scouts, which are very valuable picks. But because we have a pyro and a sniper, what it really ends up coming down to is how well the rest of my team can get in behind me and maybe our demo and our medic. A sniper can play from far back, but they have to hit their shots reliably, or they're not really a part of the mid at all, or the fight at all. Pyro is basically just a body to get shot at in this moment, because they can't really walk through a flank and kill a scout that's fully buffed on a rollout or a soldier that's 300, unless they hit every reflect. And our Uber's worse here, so I'm not able to stay in as long as I want to. So here's what ends up happening. We still have 2 picks. We could theoretically be fighting mid again because their scouts weren't there, but because we had a sniper and a pyro, I say get the fuck out. Leave. Because look what ends up happening. They dry fight very, very soon. We lose our pyro, our sniper gets pressured, he dies in a sec, and then I try to clean up off of his 100 damage, and then I die. And our med dies.
The control point is being contested.
So the moral here is that Scratch sucks at sniper?
No, well, he actually hit 100 damage on a scout that I could have cleaned up off of. Moral of the story, though, is even with advantages like 2 scout picks, if you don't have the right class setup pushing into a hard point to push like mid, it's not a 1 fight still. You still have to play it really, really well on those off classes you have. And Scratch, yeah, I guess Scratch could have hit like 4 headshots in a row. But we can't really play that kind of coin flip, you know what I mean? So yeah, we ended up losing the round. In a normal transition off of post Uber there, with our normal 6s lineup, we would have won mid fight after that. Maybe killed their combo, wiped them on mid. But since we didn't have a soldier and a scout, we lost it. It really came down to scratching every shot and then me being able to kill their combo with like 1 other player. But we couldn't because we didn't have the proper lineup for the play to make sense. Okay, so we're on mid 5, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. 6. Okay. So what we're looking at here, just the normal mid. Their soldiers bombed instantly, but then they faded, which is actually pretty bad on their part, in my opinion. Okay. Reason why it's bad is because I talked about it earlier. When you fade out a soldier, you're already taking damage by the scouts and their demo. because they have to like land, and by the time they land, if they fade to like the high ground, I'm already shooting there, and my demo's already shooting there. So me and Penny just killed 2, just by doing that. And then I think our Pyro also helped clean up one of them. So we killed 2 with the work of 3 of us, but they were basically given to us for free, those kills. And that's why those mids don't make sense on the side of Frey. It's like I don't really understand the mindset of that. I think it's just because they want to use that fade to distract for maybe a scout or a demo to pressure, but I ended up killing Patty in that same time window because I knew he'd push there, so I killed him. I think this is the first time that Kawa has been on their last as Pyro, so at this point, it's kind of hard to do anything with a Pyro, and I'll kind of give my judgment on what to do here. Kill the Pyro, like let the Pyro die, because realistically the only thing the Pyro can do is distract themselves, distract somebody so somebody else can send, which is what they tried to do right there. But Palemo gets caught to the soldier that was trying to push lower. I think he was trying to push me initially, but he pushed me instead. Okay, so I get a good exchange here. This exchange is really, really good because we're able to play around our spawners. Habib tries to fight me. He does.
You
I
two
go for
and your ego 1v1s. Wild.
Yeah, it's the best part about Flank Scout. On Flank Scout, you're able to like take fights like that and like really use your DM in a better way than potentially a combo scout would. Which is why I like Flank Scout. Being able to kind of use a lot of my DM capabilities to get kills like that in a fight makes everything feel a lot better. So what happened there was Hannah died on our second fight, even though we killed their medic later. However, when we had 3 picks, we overheated. The term overheated means like you get good kills or you have a really good fight and you keep going for more. It's kind of getting greedy, you know what I mean? So we kept going and then we lost 3 because of that, which actually ended up making us lose second, which was not worth it.
Oh, you're on spy now.
Yeah. I like to spy on off time. This is the first time I've been on spy this game, so they don't really expect me to do it. However, I'm actually on the wrong setup. Most of the time I have a Latronger equipped, so my cloak lasts longer, but right now I have stock everything. Except for my watch. So I have to go very fucking slow to do anything. The cloak was loud as hell, but they didn't hear it, so. Alright. I'm gonna play a little game here. Maven, do you think I get this drop or no?
Oh god. I'm hoping that you get it. I don't think you will given the circumstances. It seems like they're moving away too quickly, but oh no, they're not. Okay.
Let's find out. So they don't know that I'm on spy, so they do a counter sack. Does Exile get the stab? Let's find out. Nope.
Yeah, that was my fear.
I had the knife twitch, so I did have the backstab potentially, but I didn't go for it because I was hoping they'd be too negligent to look for spy there, that I'd be able to get a better stab opportunity, but I lost it, so. So here we go for a play. I forgot about the soldier behind. I didn't even know how he was there, to be honest. I got so lost, but yeah. So here what we're experiencing is the kind of flip I was talking about, where Pyro kind of takes more pacing, a tempo away from us. And I think this all started because we went for that push out into their last when our med died. I think this all started because of that. It's kind of like a mental shift where we were pretty capable and confident at making the right decisions, but then we made 2 wrong decisions back to back, and now we're on the back foot because we're either tilting or our main color is not able to stay in the game mental wise, or people on our team just aren't able to reset the way they want to. So now we're stuck. But I would like to see how we are able to come back from that. So okay, so this gun spot is something I stole from Benny. This spot here. This is hidden this is hidden from shutter, so if they use from shutter, which most teams do, they won't see the gun until they peak point, and the gun will also deny anything that bombs at a lower or the demo that bombs to right spawn. It denies him there too. So if they don't spot it early, my gun will be a lot longer than my gun does. Benny always checks that though, so. That was a really good counter pop. Just a tip for people watching: if you're not on off class and you're a scout maybe or a demo, if you have the half stat Tuichi equipped, if they have full Uber but you're like maybe at like around 50 or something like that, and they're still trying to cap second and go into your last, if you build for the next 20 seconds or so, less than that potentially, you can get Uber in that situation right there. Also, I get fucked here, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
That's like a flank fight you would only take if you're really confident in that, because that's like a death that you don't want to have. But if I killed that soldier there, we'd have 3 picks, so I went for it potentially. It was just a really risky fight. However, we're kind of doing the kind of chain feeding I was talking about a second ago. But Scratch is able to stay in and get another pick, so we actually reset it, kind of. Yeah, we reset it, so now them dry fighting second here will be much harder because they went down a scout, so.
Is the Boston bashing the wall mandatory to get to invite, or is that personal preference?
Okay, so that's a personal thing I do. I've always done that, and sometimes I do it on rollout and I hit myself on accident and my crit kill goes away, so I will say don't do that unless you're a silly player like me, so.
Don't do it unless you're a silly, goofy guy?
Yeah, just like me. Okay. The sound's bugged, but what's happening here is actually really unfortunate. I'll just let it play out for a second. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, Hannah's gonna die. Okay. So here's the situation that just happened. I'm gonna find a fix to the sound. Basically what happened was that
I can send you a fix to the sound. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, send me in Discord. So what happened there was we called that they were gonna dry fight us. And the standard thing that happens when a dry fight happens in grass, or maybe it's gonna turn into an exchange from both teams in lower grass on second on Snakewater, is we meet them in grass with our combo, and then our flank makes sure nothing can kill us from saw, and nothing bombs from window. However, we were not ready for the dry fight in the lower, so when they did the dry fight, we did lose 2 people. We lost our demo and Scratch. I think Scratch just spawned. So we lost 2 people immediately in the Uber, and then I ended up dying trying to meet our combo, and then I died because I didn't get the Uber because I got dropped. And this all started because I think someone on our team wanted to flank Saw alone, even though the situation wasn't really proper for it. So we ended up losing our combo and everyone else because of that. And the only player that's alive right now is Kawa, and I think it's because they wanted to do that flank play, which is ill-advised, by the way. You probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. There you go. I think it's still quiet. Oh, the reason why it's quiet is because I changed the volume in-game for myself. There you go. Like, during the match.
That would
Okay.
do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the scoreline is 4-2 for Fryo, I think, or 2-3. I think 2-3. So we, like I said earlier, we do win all the mids. So we're confident in that regard. So at this point, we haven't given up the game entirely. We know we can win mid fights. So we just gotta learn what are we gonna do after we win mids, basically. Okay, I do something really good this mid. So I pressured the soldiers early, so I knew they were pretty low already when they bombed. So I opted to ignore them. Because what happened last mid, I don't know if you remember what happened last mid, or one of the mids, Habib ended up pushing me right lane and killing me in our saw. So in my mind, I said, okay, so since they're gonna try and pressure me right side this time, I'm gonna completely ignore them and go up top. And with the positioning up top, because I know there's no one there anymore, I can just play positioning and win the mid after that. Which is exactly what happened, because I just ended up walking up top, shooting Banny and Habib, and then they had to back up. Because they knew if they stayed in, I would have killed their medic, so. I think that decision making is good from Flank Sky if you're able to do something like that. I didn't necessarily think of it exactly like that. In hindsight, I can tell you that's what happened. But in the middle of that game, I just knew if I played on the height there, I wouldn't have died. So I just did that. But I did shoot the soldiers and I ignored them for that reason, so I can play up top. Oh. So this is another instance of Kawa off of mid, but this time we have to be we're on their second as Pyro. Pretty complicated because the only thing she can really do here is, again, feed or be a part of the Uber here if they walk into mid, which they don't, I think, so it's fine. From this window angle, I just clear stickies for my combos so they don't drop. Once I cleared Sog, and I jump out window and I help clean up kills. Nice. Alright, so with our 2 picks, we do have a Pyro still. Scratch gets dropped, so I trail their... I come back to combo and help them. I hit my shots. I think we win. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of an instance of we have space with our combo because of our Uber. So what I tend to do is, since we already had picks and we had Uber, I trailed our combo because our flank can get in without me, and trailing our combo there is good because it's the door that they're clearing, so it's going to be free for a flank player like me to come in like with them, like behind them. And since I did that, I was able to take Scratch's role as combo scout, and it's like Scratch died, but I was still there to take it. So it's like still like a good Uber because I was there. Because I was able to take the scout role. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys are able to swap back and forth that easily. It's very dynamic.
Yeah, I think the role on Invite Scout nowadays is you have to learn to be dynamic like that. You can't have a kind of a linear playstyle where you can only play one role. And something that I've learned over the span of playing Invite for like a long time now is you should be able to play every role and know kind of every class at the same time. Just so you can play these situations that I'm playing. I think if Habib pushed me there, he actually would have killed me. But I don't think he knows his limitations in that moment there. So in this moment, we're kind of looking at Frodo's desperation on these midfights. The way they played that, they completely committed top 3, our 3 at the top left area, and they ended up losing all 3 of them. And since they don't have a scout to run their medic out, my team's looking to just force and kill their medic here. Yep. Danny does the right thing in going for our medic force there, but he dies for it. Again, we don't have a scout to chase him into their last to get more kills, because he had to cap for me because I died. I died in a bad way on mid, but what it actually ended up doing, even though I died there, I kept their combo in for a little bit longer, so I guess it ended up working out for us. But realistically, I shouldn't have died there probably. So okay. So at this point in the game, it's 3-3. The next round will determine the win. So us being on their last here is really good. We can take the round win here. Let's just see what we do. So when you see me standing still like this in game, it's because I'm in full thinking mode. I'm just sitting there like thinking about the next play. I'm either calling and I have to let go of my keyboard for a second to think about it, or I'm just sitting there being like, I'm just gonna wait a sec because the stress is gonna come to me soon because it's the last round, so I gotta kind of meditate for a sec and then reset. That's like a tip that I learned. I got told to me years and years ago. I think in my first or second season of Sixes, I was told, when nothing's happening, just take a second to relax, take a breather, and that's what I do a lot now. So
that works.
It does, yeah. I think if you're a player that tends to like stress in game and like have issues with like either anxiety during a match that's really close or like stress levels get really high sometimes, just take a second and let go of your keyboard if it's not a time to hold on to your fucking mouse and keyboard and shoot shit, and just breathe a second, and then your mind will kind of come back to a state of like ease and you'll be okay afterwards. That's kind of like a understanding of like mindfulness as a competitive player. You gotta have to understand like the mindfulness part of like playing a competitive video game, because obviously match settings are like not like a scrim. Like if you win or lose, that's the outcome of that week. Like all that work you put into the outcome is in the match, so you got to make sure you're taking the right precautionary measures to do your best in the match. So also back to the topic, when I'm playing as a scout in lobby, my main job is trying to watch the doors that my soldiers aren't. Normally I wouldn't try to watch lower, but since my sniper is there, my demo is going to try and trap where my sniper is, and my soldiers are trying to spam the doors too, but no one was watching lower there, so I just did it. And the reason why I push deep into lower and pressure the soldier is so if he's buffed or he's already 200 peeking that door, it'll be harder for me to peek him if he pushes it to me, like here, right? So I just try to damage him so he knows I'm there, so he doesn't try to take that fight, because I'm probably, in their mind, they're probably knowing that I'm calling him, so yeah, see? So he does the kind of thing I'm doing, which is actually good on him. He's basically just taking the aggression away from me, so However, since I was looking at him for the past 3 minutes, I just knew he'd do that. So I just read him really well right there. Oh.
Oh God, that's
That's like
terrifying.
my fault. Yeah, that was like my fault. I swear. I should not have fucking almost let my med drop there.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
All right, so we have a spy. Kawa just died. There's a minute left, and they have a gun built. So here's what I think we try to do. We're gonna take lobby and stay in lobby here to take space. I call it top left is free because they are actually fearing very very hard here in my opinion. So we're just gonna keep prodding top left to maybe kill the gun, and then we're gonna see what we can do with an Uber afterwards. Scratch, Scratch tried to walk in as spy there, but Habib randomly shot a choke and hit him, and then he killed him. So our spy had a very unlucky timing there. In the demo I watched after this, that was the funniest thing ever. I think it was on like Habib's stream actually. Oh. Alright, so look, 10 seconds left, Scratch died, but we have to take it before like the timer is at 0, because if we don't, when it hits OT, the cap time has to be at least capped a little bit. So what I do here is I actually try to die for cap time so Scratch can get on it, and we win because of that.
Hey,
And that's the victory.
GG's.
Yes, it was actually a very good match. Before anything though, I kind of want to explain what just happened at the end there because it's really important.
Yeah, please do.
So, because there was only a minute left and my spy died, less than a minute, we only had like 30 seconds to go into last and take an exchange. Because we didn't want the round to reset because we had mid control, so we wanted to keep playing the game after mid on their side. So what we opted to do there is take the exchange just to get the Ubers out of the way. And then with the players I have that are outside the Uber, they have a lot of space to walk in. So on a 6v6 fight, we actually had more space than they did because they were kind of trapped behind their spawn and stuff like that and like playing next to the point, but the point they had to commit their lives to. Because I went for cap very early with the rest of my health that I had, just to get a bit of cap time, just because the OT fight could start any second after that Uber, right? So when the start of that fight happened in the post, I died for cap time, but I also died for a trade, so somebody killed the player that was shooting me off point. And then Scratch, who was a respawner, came behind me at post Uber and finished the cap because the player who was stopping the point already died, so he ran to cap the point after that. And with the rest of my players coming in that had extra space to walk in, they were able to clean up and win the round. And that's how we won that game. Just a final note on that too. For scouts who are looking to try to learn last pushes better for their roles, either combo or flank, it is good to decide how the point control will be like kind of happen in the Uber. So some combo scouts try to end their Uber on point. Some combo scouts try to play wherever their demo's trying to play into. Maybe the demo traps the other side of spawn, for instance. So maybe he'll jump the other side of spawn and kill those players and then play cap. In that instance, though, we had to play cap. So I took the initiative to play cap there as the person who took the Uber, and then Scratch can just play off of me. If you're a combo scout though, and you do that kind of same play in a less tense situation, maybe like not overtime, but like just a standard Uber into last. What pocket scouts could do is get cap time really high, and then maybe either trade a player on point for them, or they die to a player stopping the point. Because what that does is it changes the pace of the fight where the defending team has to stop that point at all costs. So the pick becomes more obvious afterwards for the players who are coming in on your post Uber. Does that make sense? I think so.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes the kills more obvious, because if you're trying to come in behind an Uber but you're not able to get free 1v1 kills on your own side, the kills will be given to you later in the fight anyways, because you're able to walk in and just kill the player stopping point. Because those players are either going to be low already, or they're going to have no ammo to shoot back at you, so they're actually they just become like free kills. And then that's how you want to kind of situate your Ubers, is make the game more on your pacing, and make the other team kind of helpless for the most part. So yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that was a good demo review. I don't know if you have any questions, maybe.
I think so. Like, genuinely, it was nice that you had a lot to say. Because yeah, my whole role here is just to ask questions and fill in blank space, basically. But you covered pretty much everything. I thought that went well.
Yeah, I tend to review a lot, so I have a lot of insight on just like kind of either sixes or Highlander. I just have a lot of like insight on the game in terms of like how the meta works, what classes do. So I'm able to
Yeah.
kind of when I review, I just try to talk about each individual class and what their roles are in the push. And then if we're looking at my perspective, I'm not just playing flank scout with a clear mind and kind of just playing to focus on shooting and like killing things. I actually do consider different factors in my team. So I'm looking at my flank, like my roamer. I'm looking at my combo scout. If he dies, I take his place. I'm looking at my medic just in case I need to run him out. And I'm looking at protecting, my demo and maybe a soldier getting pushed, like stuff like that. So
Yeah, being
um
being super
yeah,
flexible is great, and I really liked that about that demo.
yeah, I think that showcases a lot of the flexibility Scout has. Because I think Scout works in a lot of ways. It can be one of your main sources of frags and damage if you're good at like taking heals, using your buff HP to take multiple fights. A good combo Scout or a good Scout in general will be able to kind of have a good understanding of focus fire and like who's a good kill to get in a fight. But it also shows you a lot of ways of playing passively and like playing smart. Playing smart can be aggressive as well, more DM centric, but it can also be like, understanding macro, understanding tempo, understanding like what advantages are good and stuff. And that's kind of what my gameplay expresses. It kind of expresses good macro of each class and an understanding of what could happen in like the next 10 seconds. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess if you have any more questions for me.
Do you have any like shout outs or anything you want to have at the end of the video?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to GCI for that match. That was a really fun match. And I spoke to some of them after the match, and they said that was like one of the best TF2 matches they've ever played, and I'm happy to see that. I've had a lot of fucking insane matches myself personally, and hopefully I can share some of those later. But shout outs to GCI, shout outs to the players on Frytech. I have a lot of friends on Frytech, so I like playing and watching them play, playing against them and watching them. Um, shouts to a few players that I know. My friend Clara, shouts to her. Shouts to the people, the original Black Swan players, and shout out to the people on Covenant who were the team I first got my placement on in Invite Sixes. So shouts to all those guys.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you Exile for doing this in the first place, and yeah, I thought that was a really good one. I'm excited for it to go live.
Yeah, it was
cool.
fun.
Okay,
All
bye
right, yeah,
everybody.
thanks everyone. Bye bye.